102.7 FM.
This is Sports Center.
I'm Kevin Winter. Week number 12 of the National Football League is underway. 3 games on this Thanksgiving Day. 15 games all told this week. 9 of them are going to feature teams who are 500 or better facing one another. According to the Elias Sports Bureau, that's the most number of games with each team at above 500 or 500 this late in the season since the merger back in 1970. However, one of those games is not game number 1 on this Thanksgiving Day. It's the Bears visiting the Detroit Lions. Chicago entering 3-7. Detroit winless in 10 games this season, 0-9-1. However, Jared Goff has just found T.J. Hawkinson from 17 yards out here in the third quarter, and Detroit has taken a 14-13 lead over the Bears, trying to get their first win of the season. Middle game of the day will start 90 minutes from now. The Dallas Cowboys playing host to the Las Vegas Raiders. Dallas is going to be without a wide receiver, CeeDee Lamb, because of a concussion. They're already going to be without Amari Cooper, so for the second straight week, Dak's weapons on the outside are going to be limited.
Hey, it's Keyshawn Johnson wishing you a happy Thanksgiving from everyone here at Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max. And don't forget to join us reacting to all the football games. That's Friday morning on Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max, ESPN Radio.
Welcome to the Rivals Pregame Show on ESPN Honolulu. Brought to you by Rivals Sports Bar and Lounge. For every sport, for every game, for everyone. In the Waikiki Malia by Outrigger.
Good morning and happy Thanksgiving. Gary Dickman with Derrick Lowe. You are listening to the Rivals Pregame Show on ESPN Honolulu. You can also check us out on the ESPN Honolulu Facebook page. Hawaii getting ready for the Las Vegas Classic in the New Orleans Hotel in Las Vegas. They're playing Illinois, Chicago. Tip-off right after 11 a.m. Josh Pacheco on the call. We'll take you up until about 10:50 a.m. They will play a game tomorrow, depending on what happens with their game, and the second game today, and we'll see what time it'll be. We do know, and Josh will let you know after the game, that it will be either a 10:30 a.m. start or a 1 p.m. start. More on that later. Derrick Lowe joining me. Derrick, happy Thanksgiving. And as a college basketball fan and myself and a college basketball player like you are, I guess there's nothing better in a way than college basketball on Thanksgiving.
It's nothing better. You get to watch basketball, then you get to eat a lot of food.
Yes. It's the best world. That's the best of both worlds there. I love that. And we got a lot going on with this team. Now, let's talk a little bit, first of all, before we talk about Hawaii's 2-1 start. The Illinois-Chicago team. They are the Flames, and they're 2-2 right now. Their wins are against Valparaiso, and somebody called Trinity. I guess it's a D2 team in Chicago. They lost 5 of their top 6 leading scorers from last year. They have a 3-guard starting lineup, and it's interesting because one of their guards, Demario Franklin, he is their leading scorer with 16.3. He's also their leading rebounder. We'll get to some of the other starters. They don't have a lot of height. When they see a guard lineup like that, hopefully Hawaii maybe can adjust, and we know Iran Ganat's been able to do that depending on the opponent, go big or go small. But it looks like for Illinois, Chicago, their guards, as I mentioned, 6'5", 6'3", another 6'3" guard. Their biggest guy is Michael Diggins at 6'8". I hope that will help Hawaii on the rebounding numbers, but they got really good shooting guards. The guards are their strength. I mentioned Franklin shooting 49%, and then you got Kevin Johnson, and he played at Nicholls State. He is shooting 49% as well, leads the Horizon League in assists to 7.2. When you see a 3-guard lineup, I mean, did that make it much of an adjustment for a team like Hawaii today?
I mean, it might make a little bit of adjustment. You remember the last time we saw Hawaii against a really small team in UH Hilo, and how that kind of affected their play a little bit until UH finally got things going. But, I got to see them just a little bit. But what I noticed was, they're a pretty quick and athletically aggressive team on both ends of the floor. I think of it as like them having like three Colemans, on their team. They all can have the ability to shoot the 3. They have the ability to slash and get to the basket quick, for floaters and mid-range shots and everything. But, it'd definitely be interesting to see how Coach Ganat tries to match up with them. Because, they are a little smaller and even they're big. Diggins, he's 6'8", but he's only 195 pounds. He's light.
Not very big, right?
But, he's pretty mobile and he's pretty quick, so he can attack the basket. He gets out in transition for lobs and he's a really good shot blocker. So definitely going to be an intriguing matchup to see.
Yeah, he leads the team with 1.5 blocks per game. And I mentioned the guards both shooting 49%. The team shoots 44.5%, which is not bad. But when you look at the guards that we mentioned, Johnson and Franklin shooting 49, the other guys aren't really holding up their end. So I have a feeling when we hear Josh on the broadcast this morning, hopefully don't hear a lot about those guards, but I think those are the main concerns for Iran and Hawaii is those two guards, Franklin and Johnson. And the lack of height hopefully would help Hawaii on the board. This is the team that averages over 70.5 points a game, lets up about 66. And you really can't look too much at last year where they were 9-13. It's a shortened season. And again, 5 of the top 6 scorers from that team are gone. They got a couple of transfers, and they're doing a good job with those guys. But those guards are the main concern today.
Yeah, super new team for them this year. Like you're saying, besides their 3 starters, they have those 5 transfers, and then they have 3 incoming freshmen. So very, very new team. But, I think they have a lot of potential on the offensive side. They, like you said, they all have the ability to shoot. I'm gonna make him Hawaiian, but Jamie Ahale, I know his name.
Yes, the other starter, right?
Ahale. But I think they're really trying to count on him to be their sniper from outside. Like I said, he has the ability, but if he gets going, or if any one of the other shooters can get going, it's going to be a tough adjustment. But I think if Hawaii just sticks to their scheme and really comes out early, I think they can be able to combat them. So.
Yeah, Ahale's average is 6.5 points, and Dickman's only 6. You mentioned how good he is, and he's a Las Vegas native, so he's going back home. But those two guys don't really add a lot of the scoring punch. The other starter that I mentioned at 6'6" is Zion Griffin. He's averaging 11.3 points a game, one of the few holdovers from last year. So, again, they don't have a lot. If you're Ron Gannat and you're trying to study film of last year, it's not going to help. I also would imagine for Illinois, Chicago, getting ready for Hawaii today, I'm not sure if you can look too much at last year's film either. You got the 3 games that you were at for the Rainbow a couple of weeks ago, but that's really it. There's just too many new players on this team. You do have a couple of guys, but even Bernardo da Silva, you can't really get much film on him for the last 2 years, and he's been doing a good job. So hopefully that'll be a wash as far as each team having a lot of film on the other.
Yeah, I think it's, like you said, I think it's hard to kind of, study a lot of film so early in the season still, is like the 4th game or whatever, or 3rd or 4th game. But, I think the best thing to do for the coaches is just to prepare for the team's potential. UH got to prepare as if, UIC is going to shoot lights out, get out in transition really fast, so, they got to be able to get back on defense. They got to be able to neutralize their offensive threat early and so forth. And then same thing on the other side, UIC got to look at Hawaii for their height and for, their all of their scoring options, and got to be able to rebound against Hawaii because, we are going to be a lot bigger and longer. So, they got to have to take that into consideration as well. But
we'll talk in a few minutes about the changes Hawaii made in their starting lineup for the Pacific game, the 3rd game of the Rainbow after the Northern Colorado game. And it might have started in the second half, but a couple of changes there. Still, Hawaii has the height. And we talked to Ron Gannat a few times earlier this season, before the season started, and they had the ability to go big or go small. You could start a Mate and a Bernardo da Silva if you want. If you're going up against maybe one of the bigger teams, and Irvine usually has the most height in the Big West, you can go big. If you want to go with a 3-guard lineup, and I know Iran mentioned this week, when you go to a 3-guard lineup like Illinois Chicago is, for Hawaii, you got Junior Madut in there. And I think that's a bonus because he can defend, and he's also a big guard, and he scored, as we saw in the Rainbow. So Hawaii can adjust that way. I also think the in-game adjustments are key, as usual.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see how that goes. We are going to have a former Rainbow Warrior player every time we do the Rivals Pregame Show. And today, coming up in just about 5 minutes, it'll be Noah Allen. And the last time we talked to him, he was in the G League. And I know Derrick and I were talking earlier. I up until a week ago, I still thought he was in the G League for the Long Island Nets, the Brooklyn Nets affiliate. Now I understand he's in Spain. I have no idea what time it is there, but it's probably Thanksgiving's almost over for Noah Allen, but we'll catch up with him a little later today. And we'll do this every time on the Rivals Pregame Show. And we're going to take a break in just a minute or two and then have Noah Allen join us. While we talking about Illinois, Chicago, I mean, when you have in-game adjustments, what goes on at halftime? You want to have in-game adjustments or the halftime adjustments. And I've seen Iran do a pretty good job, even though when I look at the Northern Colorado game, at halftime of that game for Hawaii, they got outscored 10-0 to start the second half and found themselves down by 26. They did make adjustments and had no quit in them, but that's a key, I think, in any college basketball game with any team, what you do at halftime. Now that you see the team live, what do you do to respond?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, basketball, it's a simple game. It's about a game of just adjustments, kind of like chess. The other you make your move, the other team got to adjust and try to make a move to counter you. Then you got to make a move to counter them. It's just going back and forth, and whoever can maintain the top hand with adjustments is going to come out successful. And like we were saying earlier, I thought Coach Ganot made a lot of great adjustments in going into that Pacific game. Pacific played a certain way. They had a really good point guard. They had a really good shooter. And, UH came out with a different lineup, and they came out with Coleman chasing Avdolovich all over the place. And then they put, Madut a little longer, a little bigger, trying to get in front and bother Crockwell, to stop him in transition. So, that kind of stuff, Coach Ganot did great last game. And, we're looking forward to see those kind of adjustments and tweaks heading into this game, because I'm pretty curious too. Like, I was trying to look at UIC starting lineup, and then I was trying to look at UH's new starting lineup, and I was trying to figure out, I was like, oh, who's going to guard who? And, I couldn't figure it out. So I'm pretty curious as well.
Yeah, with Bernardo da Silva with his size and his length, especially with his arms, and Mate Chelina, who will come in off the bench apparently, looking back to the last game, they should have a nice advantage down low. And almost at every position, they do have a size advantage. So hopefully they'll be able to exploit that, maybe win the rebounding battle as well. We're going to take a break here with the Rivals Pregame Show on ESPN Honolulu. And when we return, hopefully we'll have Noah Allen all the way from Spain joining us. We'll catch up with him. We'll talk about the Big West a little bit later and some of the big victories over Power 5 schools. We'll also talk more in depth about the University of Hawaii and how they've done over the first 3 games. All ahead here on ESPN Honolulu in the Thanksgiving edition of the Rivals Pregame Show.
Who says you need a turkey, tree, or stuffed stockings to celebrate the season? Reinvent your holidays into something all your own with a special fixed-rate holiday loan from Hawaii USA Federal Credit Union with rates as low as 1.99% APR for 12 months. Offer available for a limited time only. Visit hawaiiusafcu.com/holiday to learn more and apply. Loan details also available by calling 1-800-379-1300. Hawaii USA Federal Credit Union. Life matters. Insured by NCUA and Equal Housing Lender.
I've got the pothole blues, it's the same old news. Every time I hit the streets, my car takes a beat. My alignment is off and my tires are shot. I need to find a way to lose these pothole blues.
It's okay to sing along, but you don't need to have the pothole blues. Lex Brody's Tire, Brake, and Service Company knows how to cheer you up. First, smiling and welcoming faces. Then, the best value on the island for your wheel alignments, tires, and brakes. Whether it's called our Lex Advantage or our Lex Appeal, we are your best value and choice for Michelin and Toyo tires and brake repairs. Wear your University of Hawaii logoed hat or shirt when you visit an Oahu Lex Brody's location and get an additional 5% off your purchase. Go to lexbrodys.com for more details and for our other Super Saver coupons. Thank you very much.
Meadow Gold Dairies Hawaii is honored to support University of Hawaii as their official milk partner, nourishing and fueling UH athletics with chocolate milk, white milk, orange juice, and POG. Meadow Gold is proud to provide families in Hawaii with the best dairy, juice, and ice cream products for over 124 years. As our University of Hawaii continues their quest to win and become champions, we celebrate their success. Go Bows!
Wet O'Kole's annual holiday sale is happening right now. Hawaii's premier source for top-quality seat covers, is holding its holiday mega sale with huge discounts on in-stock and pre-ordered custom seat covers. Enjoy great deals on accessories, rear seat storage units, and more at Wet Okole's annual mega sale. It's the perfect gift for the friend who loves their car or truck. Wet Okole, 1727 Dillingham Boulevard. Don't miss out on these great prices. Not valid online or through our manufacturer. Restrictions apply.
Here's a team physician tip from Dr. Jay Marumoto.
Ankle braces are proven to be effective at reducing the frequency and severity of ankle injuries, but they must be properly fitted and readjusted during sports activities.
Dr. Jay Marumoto is the University of Hawaii's most senior team surgeon. For the most advanced sports injury care, contact Orthopedic Associates at 536-2261 or go to oahawaii.com. Orthopedic Associates, Hawaii's team physicians.
This is the Rivals Pregame Show on ESPN Honolulu.
Gary Dickman and Derrick Lowe, and as you heard, you are listening to the Rivals Pregame Show, brought to you by Rivals Sports Bar and Lounge, for every sport, for every game, for everyone in the Waikiki Malia by Outrigger. We're getting ready for tip-off in less than an hour in Las Vegas. Hawaii playing Illinois, Chicago in the Las Vegas Classic. And right now, we're going to catch up with a former Rainbow Warrior and find out how he's been doing and talking about his University of Hawaii career, as we are joined by Noah Allen joining us now, all the way in Spain. Noah, happy Thanksgiving. Thanks for joining us. What time is it there?
Happy Thanksgiving to you. Thanks for having me. It's 9 o'clock, 9:15.
Okay, so 11 hours later.
Yeah.
The last time we had talked to you, you were in the G League playing in Long Island. How did you end up in Spain?
I was in the G League, and then last year I was in Germany until about January. Then I switched teams and ended up back in Spain. And then I like the coach. I mean, we got a good relationship, so I just kind of followed him to where he went to this year.
I can't pronounce the name of your team. I'll let you do that in a second, but I was looking up some of your recent numbers, and the last game that I could find, you had 22 points, 7 rebounds. The 2 games before that, 17 and 14. Looks like you're doing pretty well over there.
Yeah, finding a nice little rhythm with the team and my role, and I'm pretty comfortable, so I just got to keep it going.
And we have Derrick Lowe here who'd like to talk as well. Derrick?
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, what's up, Derrick? How you doing?
Doing good, man. Long time no see. But
yeah, right on.
Hey, can you tell some of the people who are listening, what's some of the biggest, or maybe just what's one biggest adjustment, that you had to make with overseas basketball? Because a lot of people over here, they don't know, right? It doesn't have to be basketball related. It can be off the court. It can be just like the going to the store, or trying to do all of that, or whatever it is.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I kind of had my own culture shock when I had moved to Hawaii. So when I moved to another country, it wasn't anything off the court. It was mainly just on the court, just the basketball and the tactics behind it, and just the pace of play, how they play, what they like to take advantage of is completely different. So that was just the biggest adjustment. But I mean, this is my 3rd year over here overseas, so I'm getting more accustomed to it for sure. But I mean, there's definitely off the court. I was cool. I had that whole experience when I moved to Hawaii, so that's the easy part.
Oh, right on.
What about the language barrier?
I'm pretty fluent in Spanish now. I don't really need, with my coaches and with my Spanish teammates. I mean, we just speak Spanish. I picked up on it after my first year, and then that was 4 years ago. So I kind of just keep using it every chance that I get. So there's not really a language barrier in Spain, but like when I was in Germany, that's completely different. So I'm not up to par there, but the Spanish is good. I'm good with Spanish.
All right. Former Rainbow Warrior Noah Allen joining us here in the Rivals Pregame Show on ESPN Honolulu. Also, you can check it out on our ESPN Honolulu Facebook page as well. And one thing I want to ask you about, Noah, you are a Division I transfer from UCLA, and you came here for the 2016-17 season. This year, Hawaii has 3 Division I transfers. And I just want to know, what was the biggest adjustment coming here from playing at UCLA and then playing here, being one of the main players, if not the main player, and just with the mindset of what you thought about coming here, coming from UCLA? What was the decision process like?
I mean, adjustment-wise, it was a whole different world, kind of just being an afterthought. And then kind of just being, thrown into the fire from day one. I kind of looked at it as like my first year of actually playing. college basketball. I felt like I hadn't really played basketball or had game reps or anything like that for about like 3 years. So, I mean, it was a great experience for me, though. I knew Gannett and Coach Jacobson, so that was the main reason I wanted to go there. And then once I got there, I fell in love with Hawaii. I fell in love with the people, the fans, and the school as well. So, I mean, it was one of the best decisions I made in my life.
I know a lot of people have fond memories, and it was just the 1 year you were here, and they wish there was a lot more than 1 year. But I'm going to go back to a couple of games and get your thoughts on that season. The one game I do remember really well is the overtime win against Long Beach State, 114-107. You had 25 points, but not only yourself, Jack Purchase and Leyland Green also had 25. What do you remember about that game against one of Hawaii's biggest rivals in the Big West?
I remember there wasn't much defense being played. I think the score was something. I think we both almost got to 100, I'm pretty sure. But, I mean, it was just a back-and-forth game, and I know I had been struggling up to that point. We had a couple guys that had been struggling, and, we had been struggling collectively as a team. So it was a big win for us, and some great individual performances for us as well.
What about the game against Cal Poly? You had 30 in that game. What do you remember about that performance?
I remember my entire family was there, and again, we had just lost the game before, so we wanted to come out strong, and it was a great game for all of us. I think it was a good time.
Any other games stand out in your memory from when you played here?
I think North Carolina, definitely. Just seeing the North Carolina, just that atmosphere was amazing. Really getting to see the stand packed out. And then I think Santa Barbara at home, we had just lost a couple games again. And I think there was like 8,000 or 9,000 people at that game, which was something I just, wasn't accustomed to in terms of just experiencing that type of support from a fan base, especially when you're on a team that isn't necessarily winning as much as they'd like to.
We haven't had 8,000 or 9,000 fans here in a really long time. We haven't had fans in a very long time, but that's been the norm for a lot of places there. Talk about the fans and their appreciation for your team and just overall Hawaii athletics while you were here, what you noticed and remembered about that.
Man, it's something I take with me to this day. I'm always so proud to claim the university and to tell people I went there, and I jump at the opportunity to let people know how great the fans are, how great the people are there. Just the embrace and the genuity in which they supported us is something like I've never experienced before.
Derrick was asking you a few minutes ago about the culture and what the adjustments would have to be in Spain on and off the court. When you came to Hawaii, what do you remember the most about the biggest difference here, and what do you miss the most about Hawaii?
Oh man, what was the biggest? The biggest thing I can't really, say. It was just, culturally, it's a complete unique culture there that isn't like anywhere else in the world. And then coming from California, where I'm from, just going to LA, it wasn't that much of a shift. So then when I went to Hawaii with new faces, didn't have a place to live right away either. So it was just a lot of things going on at once. But again, just the people. Once you feel that aloha spirit, it sticks with you for the rest of your life. And so I'm so thankful and blessed that I had that opportunity to go there. And I'm back every summer to go back, see the team, see the players, see the coaches, and other people that I met that I continue to talk to this day. So I want to end up there eventually. Once I'm done playing, I hope that I'll be able to come back and set up shop there for sure.
Noah Allen joining us here, former Rainbow Warrior player on the Rivals Pregame Show on ESPN Honolulu and our Facebook page, ESPN Honolulu as well. You played in the Pac-12, one of the better basketball conferences. You and Derrick both played in the Pac-12. You come to the Big West, and in my opinion, I think the Big West gets a bad rap by some people because maybe a lot of the schools in the mainland have, smaller gyms. What are your thoughts on the Big West as a basketball conference, just purely on the court?
Purely on the court, I think there's a lot of talent, a lot of players going to play professionally. And also, there's a lot of great universities. So I'm a big fan of the Big West, and, I wish nothing but the best for all the teams.
You mentioned a couple of players earlier. Do you get to keep in touch with any of your former teammates from Hawaii?
Oh, yeah, a lot of them. I talked to Brock. I talked to Sharif. I know Mike and Gibb, they're on staff now, but, those two are definitely two of the guys that I was closer to, so I talk to them on a regular basis. Talk to Gannett as well, so talk to Artie. I try to keep in touch with as many people associated with the program as possible.
Is coaching in your future? You talk about Michael Thomas and Gibson Johnson. They're on the staff right now. Is that something you'd consider later on?
No, I don't know. I mean, I never say never, but I think I want to try something else in my life once I'm done with basketball. You know, I love it. It's giving me so much, but I want to see what else I could do. But I'm so happy, man. That's awesome. Yeah.
I mentioned earlier about that you're in Spain right now. You mentioned it's late at night there. What is the basketball season like there now? How many games do you play? And also, since COVID is still here, what are some of the precautions and protocols you have to go through in Europe?
I mean, last year we were getting tested every week, but this year, I mean, if you're vaccinated, they put a stop to all that. It really is kind of going back to normal. I think there's like a 90% capacity rule in terms of how many people could be in the gym watching the game. But other than that, I mean, it's back to normal. Our home games, we got a great fan base here, so there's a lot of people, a lot of energy. So there hasn't been too much of a difference this year.
I've heard stories about fans in Europe and how crazy it can get sometimes. Have you had any of those experiences?
No, I've only been in Spain and Germany, so they'll talk to you. They'll definitely try to get in your ear, but nothing like where the fans are throwing stuff at you. I think that's in some other places. I haven't had that experience yet.
Okay, and I mentioned about the team you're playing with. So how many games in a season? How many more games do you have left?
To be honest, I'm not quite sure. I think we have like 40 games around there, around 40, and then playoffs after that. So it's a long season. I'm here until June, and I got here middle of September. So I'll be over here, you know, for the foreseeable future, and then try to win the league again. Try to help the team.
Okay, well, you know what? It's been great catching up with you. Some great memories with your one here at the University of Hawaii. I know you're going to do well in Spain, and hopefully be back in the United States, maybe playing in the NBA sometime. Noah, thanks again. Hopefully we can catch up again sometime soon.
Right on. Thank you guys so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
All right, thank you. Thank you. Noah Allen, former Rainbow Warrior, joining us here on ESPN Honolulu. This is the Rivals Pregame Show. Great catching up with him. And I know Derrick played overseas for a long time. Spain, I would imagine, is one of the top leagues, or one of the top countries, depending on what league you're in, but you can probably make a pretty good living there. And I know Spain, Italy, Germany are usually three of the top ones. Is that correct?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I think probably Spain, EuroLeague is the top. That's the ones that can probably compete a little bit with the NBA. But then you have, you know, your countries like Spain, and then you have, where else? I think Russia is really good. Turkey is really, really good as well. So I think those are probably like the top three.
Yeah, probably more money than you get in the G League, I imagine. I mean, even though you're further away from home, but still not a bad way to make a living. So we wish him the best, and it's great catching up. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to start talking a little bit more about the University of Hawaii, the first three games of the season, as they have a 2-1 record, getting ready for the Las Vegas Classic, and they will be playing Illinois, Chicago. Josh Pacheco on the call. He'll join us in about 20 minutes or so. We'll talk more about the first couple of games and some of the individual performances when we return right here on ESPN Honolulu. This is the Rivals Pregame Show.
In need of cash for home improvements, bill consolidation, tuition, or other expenses? Apply now for a cash-out refinance loan from Finance Factors. Mortgage rates are still low, so it's not too late to refinance your current loan to take cash out to finance other essentials. Finance Factors offers some of the lowest mortgage rates in Hawaii. Call 808-522-2000 or apply online at financefactors.com. Finance Factors, Equal Housing Lender, NMLS number 449916.
Voted Hawaii's best local coffee brand for years, Lion Coffee has been roasting since 1864 and is proud to introduce their new cold brew coffees. Available in 4 island-inspired flavors: classic, vanilla macadamia, toasted coconut, and mocha. These Lion cold brew coffees are made in Hawaii and conveniently available in 11-ounce cans at select grocery and convenience stores. Now you can enjoy a refreshing cold brew from Lion Coffee at home or on the go. It's the same roar in every pour, now in a can.
Have you been to Midas Hawaii?
Hello, Tim here from Midas Hawaii, where we are more than just mufflers. We are complete auto care, rated #1 in customer service. We strive to make your experience more enjoyable, whether it be for a walk-in safety check 6 days a week, brakes to radiators, or oil changes and steering. With 6 locations on Oahu, 2 on the Big Island, 1 on Kauai, our goal is to expedite your service and get you back out on the road. We also want to help you save money. For great rates, check out our webpage at MidasHawaii.com for specials, online deals, for services such as oil change, safety checks, and maintenance packages. And let's not forget about our tire services too. Midas is a one-stop shop for all your car care needs and is proud to be locally owned and operated by the Pereira family. Come in today or call us for an appointment. Remember, it always pays to have the Midas touch.
You came for it, so we do that. So we might as well.
Hardware Hawaii. Customer first in Kailua.
Hi, this is Eddie. I'm the lead lumber for Hardware Hawaii, Kailua. I like helping customers find what they need. It's not like another stranger just shopping here. My customers are like my friends, and then I just help them out, and I feel good. And it just makes my day. We're out here in the lumberyard ready to serve you.
Hardware Hawaii. Customer first in Kailua.
Battery Bill. Battery Bill. Be prepared for any emergency with a portable solar generator from Battery Bill. Having a solar generator will provide backup power when you need it most. And peace of mind. Choose from top brands like Jackery and Goal Zero. Learn more at batterybill.com.
Hi, I'm Battery Bill. The sun is the center of our solar system. Battery Bills is your center for solar generators. When you need emergency power, when you need portable power, it's
Battery Bill. Battery Bill.
This is the Rivals Pregame Show on ESPN Honolulu.
Gary Dickman and Derrick Lowe, and you are listening to the Rivals Pregame Show, brought to you by Rivals Sports Bar and Lounge, for every sport, for every game, for everyone in the Waikiki Malia by Outrigger. We just received some breaking news, and thank you, Josh, in Las Vegas, Josh Pacheco, getting ready for the call, and not good news. We talked about the size advantage for Hawaii and some of the depth. Well, the depth won't be there quite as much as we have just been told. Bernardo da Silva is out for today's game with a hand injury. And how many times have we talked about what Iran has said before the season started? His main concern is health of this team. They really had too deep at every position going into the season. You lose Samuta Vea, you lose Juan Munoz, season-ending injuries for both. And then you have Bernardo out. Hopefully it's nothing serious. Again, the hand injury. Don't know anything about his status for it tomorrow moving ahead. I know Josh will have more info on that. So I would assume Mate Chelina will start. And I was going to start talking with Derrick about the new starting lineup from the Pacific game, and we will. I think what Iran did really helped when he went to Bernardo da Silva and Jerome DeRosier, 6'7" forward out of or swingman out of Princeton. They didn't play basketball last year. He's doing very well. Mcclanahan goes to the bench, and Mate did. So assuming Mate will start tonight, I don't think that's a big drop-off, but I think it affects the depth of this team. And the size advantage might not be quite as much with the bench play, but those things happen. We know injuries happen, and it's unfortunate with Bernardo. It's happened his first 2 years here. He's missed a number of games. Last year, I think he only played in 3 or 4 games. So that is a concern. Again, hopefully it's nothing serious. So let's go back to the Pacific game, Derrick, when they did go to that lineup. You were there, and it showed in the results in that game. And Pacific was a favorite in that game, maybe after the Hawaii loss to Northern Colorado. But it really seemed to work with going with those guys. And Jerome DeRosier, we haven't talked a whole lot about him, but he's averaging almost a double-double. I mean, that's pretty impressive for a guy who came off the bench for the first 2 games, averaging over 10 and a half points and 9 rebounds. I've been pleased with what I've seen and heard about Jerome.
Yeah, from what I've seen also, DeRosier, he's a good leader. You know that he's going to be that guy on the court that kind of keep things together. But every time he's come off the bench, except for that last game where he actually started, he's always come off the bench ready to play, ready to defend, grabbing all rebounds, playing physical, and even showing that he can be a consistent shooting threat from outside. So, super valuable player, definitely.
I think with him, and I know with Iran Ganat, it's not really important, maybe to the players it is, if you start or not, because not a lot, but there are players every year who don't start at all, but they finish every game. And I think we would see that with Jerome, even if he wasn't starting. But to me, seeing him in the Chaminade exhibition game and number of practices, what he brings is what you just described, and even more in a way. He just does everything. He doesn't do maybe one thing especially well, but he does everything really well. And you don't get too many players who can defend like that, and he can defend multiple positions with his size of 6'7". He can score from the outside. He can score in the paint and the low block. Good passer, just a smart basketball IQ. So a very important player. I guess one of the benefits of him starting, you probably get him for more minutes, but he's just a key player who's just going to give you a lot. He might not be the leading scorer, but he's going to do a lot of things to help you win.
Absolutely. And I think it's going to be a good key tonight against this smaller lineup that UIC plays with, So you're definitely going to be able to see him, guard multiple positions, bang for rebounds and so forth. But yeah, that the Silva is I think it's going to hurt a little bit tonight, especially with, having to guard Michael Diggins. Michael Diggins, 6'8", very mobile, similar to like Da Silva, just a very mobile big guy who runs the floor really well, gets easy baskets. So it'll be interesting, of course, Hepa, can definitely stay on him and make him work. But I'm trying to think, who after that? What happens if Hepa gets into foul trouble? I think Mate might have a little bit hard time guarding on the perimeter, but yeah, it's one thing to think about.
So you look at Diggins as their center at 6'8", and he's a leading shot blocker, good rebounder as well. And I think I'm going to agree with what you were saying a minute ago about Hepa being covering him. He's more of a guy that would probably have a little bit more speed and maybe be able to match a guy who's smaller, where Mate does a good job, and he runs the court pretty well for a big man. But I would think a guy like Hepa would be better to keep up with the 6'8" guy. Even with Mate and the size advantage, I might want to keep him on somebody else, which would really give them an advantage. Kamaka Hepa, we haven't talked about too much yet. He comes in with all the hype. And, we were talking about this a couple of times on our afternoon show, where you hear Texas, you hear 4-star recruit, and you think this guy is going to be scoring 30 points a game. He's going to be our best player. And he's still a really good player. His offense is just starting to get on track. I think the Pacific game might have been his best game. But he also does a lot of things well, just like the Rosier. It seems like he's getting a lot of assists, a few steals every game, good rebounder, and also a pretty good defender.
Oh, yes. I also think, I was not saying like Hepa's not a bad player. He's definitely a good player. I think he just has to find his own, within the flow of things, be a little bit more assertive. In the last, I forget which game it was, maybe Northern Colorado. I think didn't Hepa have make 2-for-2 threes? He shot that.
I believe it was that game. I think so. Yes.
That he could shoot from outside. We know he's long and athletic. So. If anyone's smaller, he can post up, he can get to the basket, alter shots. So I think just, finding his rhythm within the scheme of things, I think that's going to be the biggest point. We know he can do it. He just has to put it out.
I don't think the fans aren't complaining or anything, but I hope they're patient, because I think, again, when you come in, we had guys over the years, Noah Allen, Sai Tumala, who will join us tomorrow, D1 transfers, and sometimes the expectation is because not so much D1, but the fact that they played for a Power 5 school like a UCLA, an Arizona State, or a Texas, and people think these guys are going to be superstars immediately. They can still do a lot of things well and help the team, and the two previous examples definitely did a good job. So I think Kamaka will be fine as well. We're going to take one more break. We're about less than 30 minutes before tip-off now in Las Vegas. Josh Pacheco will join us in about 14 minutes and give you the latest and getting ready for the starting lineup for both teams, and we'll look forward to that. And we'll come back, talk about some of the other Big West teams and how they've done so far. A couple of big wins over Power 5 schools, and we'll talk a little bit more about Hawaii's team as well. All ahead with the Rivals Pregame Show on ESPN Honolulu and our Facebook page, ESPN Honolulu.
The magic of Waikiki is back, and your staycation is waiting for you at the Waikiki Malia by Outrigger. Walking distance to the beach and lots of shopping. Rooms feature smart TVs and high-speed internet. Enjoy Rivals Sports Lounge, slice of Waikiki pizza, and IHOP on property. Come in and stay for as low as $99 per night. Enjoy the magic of Waikiki at the Waikiki Malia by Outrigger.
What should you do with that spare car or truck of yours? You might have thought about giving it to a friend or family member, but maybe you're not sure if something will go wrong with the car. Hey, why not donate that car to Kidney Cars instead? All you got to do is simply go online to kidneyhi.org. You fill out a quick and easy form so you can get your tax deduction, of course, and the National Kidney Foundation of Hawaii will even pick up that car for free. So donate your kidney car online today at kidneyhi.org.
PAXA is Hawaii's premier technology provider and systems integrator. They harness the power of bleeding-edge technologies to help local businesses realize their full potential. Their team delivers customized IT solutions that enable nearly 400 commercial, government, and nonprofit organizations across the state to maximize opportunities and pursue innovation. To learn more, visit their website at paxa.com. That's PACXA.com.
When we talk about reimagining healthcare at Hawaii Pacific Health, we're really talking about you. Because making it easier for you to be healthier is what it's all about. With video visits to see your doctor from anywhere, with virtual urgent care, with more clinics near where you live and work, and with a personalized approach that focuses on prevention. We're reimagining healthcare for you. Visit hawaiipacifichealth.org/telehealth.
Play ball. Baseball is back and so is Sports Stand Sporting Goods, Hawaii's best baseball and softball store, always at a price you can afford. Sports Stand has bats for all ages, gloves for all positions, and all the accessories you will ever need. Located at 94547 Ukea Street, Suite 303 in beautiful downtown Waipio. Or give us a call at 676-7826. Sports Stand. It's not just sporting goods, it's still a way of life.
This is your drive in the BMW M3 and M4. M twin-power turbo engines capable of generating the strength of 503 horses. M compound brakes for stopping just as easily as you go. And manual transmission availability so that you can artfully shift through each gear like a maestro conducting the world's most finely tuned symphony. The BMW M3 and M4 are here, and they're all yours to conduct.
Black Friday specials are happening at bmwhawaii.com.
This is the Rivals Pregame Show on ESPN Honolulu.
Gary Dickman and Derrick Lowe wishing you a happy Thanksgiving. We are about 10 minutes away before Josh Pacheco will join us in Las Vegas. Hawaii getting ready for the Las Vegas Classic, playing Illinois-Chicago. Hawaii 2-1, Illinois-Chicago 2-2. There is no television coverage of this game. There is no streaming coverage of this game. The only way you'll be able to follow it from start to finish is right here on ESPN Honolulu, and Josh will take you through from start to finish. When the game is over, he will give you the exact time for tomorrow's game, and I just gave you the possible scenarios, either at 10:30 a.m. start if they lose, and if they win, which we hope, of course, it will be a 1 p.m. start. We'll be on an hour earlier regardless, and the other two teams playing at, I guess, 12:30 Hawaii time, South Alabama and San Diego, and we'll find out more about our opponent after today's game. Derrick, let's talk a little bit more about UH before we go around the Big West. I want to bring up one more player, and I was really impressed, again, just seeing highlights of the first three games, reading a lot about him, but Amaro Lotto. I thought going into the season with a full roster, no injuries or players missing, that he would probably be like a 9th or 10th guy. I didn't think he was going to get maybe a lot of playing time then. Although the more practices I saw, I really liked his ball handling and transition, really good decision maker, good court vision, and a really good three-point shooter. It looks like he had a pretty good tournament, especially in the last two games against Northern Colorado and Pacific coming off the bench. Looks like he could be a key player in the rotation this year.
Oh, for sure. You know, one thing I liked about Lotto was that, you know, he came off the bench, you know, aggressive. He showed that he could help with the ball handling duties, and which Hawaii really needed, right? They have a, you know, they really need for somebody to come in and help. At that time, they were playing Mcclanahan, and they needed a ball handler in there who could help bring the ball up against presses and stuff and play make. But then also, Lotto showed that he has a really nice outside shot. You know, I really like that. And one of the games, I think he hit several threes from outside. So I think that's just it's a good piece to have, especially coming off the bench. You know, you can have scoring options off the bench. So, you know, definitely look forward to him probably contributing today, especially with the small lineup they're going to have to go against.
Right, the three-guard lineup of Illinois-Chicago. And Derrick and I were talking during the break, and Derrick brought up a really good point because, as we mentioned, if you didn't hear the news, Josh Pacheco tweeted it out a few minutes ago, getting ready for tip-off. Bernardo da Silva is out today. He's got a hand injury and will not be playing this morning. So that is a loss. So we're assuming that Mate Chelina start. At 7 feet tall, you wonder if he's going to cover the big on Illinois-Chicago, which is Michael Diggins at 6'8". And Derrick and I kind of agree that maybe you put Kamaka Hep on him. Same size. Actually, Kamaka would have an inch or two on him. But maybe Kamaka could move a little bit and maybe maintain or minimize the effectiveness of Diggins. But if you do that, who does Mate Chelina start? And maybe it would be Zion Griffin. He's their next biggest player. He's only 6'6". So you would think he might have a little bit of a quickness advantage over a 7-footer. We'll have to wait and see. But then also, who would be the guard or the player off the bench that would guard some of these big players for Illinois, Chicago as well? And you and I think, kind of agree that maybe Beon Riley would be that guy. He's listed at 6'6". I don't think he's quite 6'6", but maybe he could be a key player, especially defensively this morning.
Yeah, and from the moments that I saw Beon Riley, he looks kind of similar to, I think, that Zion Griffin guy from UIC. Just that kind of build, just a slasher that crashes boards and stuff. So I definitely look to Ganot bringing him off the bench and using him just a little bit. But yeah, I mean, the key thing is trying to figure out matchups. With Da Silva out, I know Rosier can definitely, guard off the ball as well. We know he can guard multiple positions. Hepa can stick with Diggins. But, when UIC or subs Diggins out, they bring in a Serbian freshman who all he likes to do is pick and pop. So he's a bigger guy than Diggins, but all he likes to do is pick and pop, and he loves to shoot the threes, and he's a good shooter. So now, I mean, if Mate is in guarding him, he's gonna have to deal with pick and pop situations, and it might be a little late for that, that rotation.
We'll see how that plays out. While we have a minute or two, I want to go over some of the Big West standings, even though nobody's obviously played a conference game. Irvine is 3-1, Riverside 4-2, Santa Barbara 3-1, Bakersfield and Davis 2-2, Fullerton 3-3, Long Beach State 2-4, CSUN 2-3, Cal Poly 2-4, and UC San Diego not eligible for the Big West tournament again. They are 4-1. As far as impressive wins so far, a lot of you might remember Riverside a few weeks ago beat Arizona State on a 70-foot shot at the buzzer to beat Arizona State at Arizona. Bobby Hurley, the coach there, and that was a big shocker, and that's one of Riverside's biggest wins ever, I would imagine. And UC San Diego earlier this season defeated Cal, another Pac-12 opponent. So those are the two big wins for the Big West. We're going to wrap it up here. I will see you guys at halftime. We'll give you the halftime stats and go over some of the scores and other scores in college basketball as well. We're going to take a break and send it over to Josh Pacheco. You've been listening to the Rivals Waikiki pregame show on ESPN Honolulu and our Facebook page.
Check out our 3-day doorbusters at City Mill and citymill.com. For 3 days only, take $100 off our most popular Traeger grills. And don't forget to pick up your fresh Douglas fir Christmas tree for $31.98 or the futon sofa bed for $229.98. And while you're in store on Black Friday weekend, take advantage of 5 bonus Hawaiian miles when you pay with your Hawaiian Airlines Bank of Hawaii World Elite MasterCard. 3 days only. Need something? Try check City Mill and citymill.com.
I use Makai HR for a broad array of services. If we were to have those services in-house, we would need a crew of people. I have that crew. I have access to a crew, and that's through Makai HR.
At Excel Events Intense, Hawaii's largest event rental operator, President Gabrielle Richter chose Makai HR.
I feel like I'm backed by a whole team that I could never afford to have in-house.
Makai HR, getting Hawaii back to business. Visit makaihr.com/value for your free, no obligation analysis.
Introducing the best deal in mobile. Unlimited on 2 or more lines for $29.99 a month per line. With no contracts, no added taxes, and no hidden fees. Includes nationwide 5G. Save up to 60%. Get unlimited on 2 or more lines for $29.99 a month. Call 855-438-2999. Click SpectrumMobile.com or visit a store near you.
Offer valid for new customers on 2 or more unlimited lines. Savings based on 2-line comparison of unlimited plans among major national carriers as of 9/20/21. Prepaid excluded.
In today's hectic world, you could use a little more easy, like our digital loan applications that take paper out of the paperwork. It's the modern way to apply for a loan, whether you're on your computer at home, calling in by phone, or visiting us in person. Our touchless palm scanner uses biometric technology to confirm your identity. Just wave your hand. No more fumbling for your driver's license. And if you'd like to skip the teller line altogether, our self-service interactive teller machines give you instant control over most everyday transactions. Cash a check, deposit funds, or make loan payments. Now you can bank any way you choose. Easy is about offering more choices and helpful service that's always right by you. We're Hawaii State Federal Credit Union, and in a hectic world, easy sure feels good. Hawaii residency required for new accounts, federally insured by NCUA.
Aloha, I'm Joseph O'Donnell. On behalf of Hawaii Ironworkers Union Local 625, I'd like to remind all of our members, families, contractors, and friends in the community to protect yourselves against COVID-19. Wash your hands, wear a mask, stay socially distanced, and get vaccinated. It's good for all of us. And rest assured, through it all, we'll continue to support our local sports community, which is built on teamwork, hard work, and dedication. We are proud to be part of Hawaii's team, Hawaii Ironworkers Union Local 625, where steel is real.
This is the Rivals Pregame Show on ESPN Honolulu.
We say happy Thanksgiving from the Ninth Island. Welcome inside the Orleans Arena in Las Vegas. This is the Continental Tire Las Vegas Classic in the second game of two, which we saw San Diego and South Alabama earlier today. The second of two, the Rainbow Warriors of Hawaii and the Flames of Illinois Chicago out of the Horizon League. And welcome back into the Rivals Pregame Show. I'm Josh Pacheco, just above courtside as both teams are taking the floor and getting ready to go. You just heard the big news earlier on. Bernardo da Silva is out for this game, as our injury report is brought to you by the Hawaii Pacific Health Bone and Joint Centers at Polimomi and Straub. Da Silva in practice yesterday did have kind of a soft wrap around his left hand. It is a hand injury. It was suffered sometime earlier this week, and he is not going to go tonight. What seems to be good news is the health of Noel Coleman. He's considered a game-time decision. He suffered a hip injury, but Coleman right now is warming up, albeit a little ginger, but it looks as of right now he's going to give it a go. We haven't been given the starting lineups yet, so we don't know if he will be in the starting lineup. But one thing to note, as we'll take a look at our key factors there, brought to you by Finance Factors. Savings, CDs, and mortgages. Learn more at financefactors.com. Of Jovan Mcclanahan. This team went through practice yesterday, and we saw a lot more of Mcclanahan working with the ones alongside Kamaka Hepa, Jerome DeRosier, and you may see a lot more in the front court tonight of Mate Cholina, who came off the bench for the first time on 2 Saturdays ago against Pacific. Still played somewhat limited minutes, but he did start the first 2 games of the season. Illinois Chicago is also a team that has been battling injuries. They're without Jace Carter, who's a freshman from Florida. He's in crutches. He's here, but he suffered a knee injury. They're without a senior in Maurice Commander. He suffered hips. He underwent hip surgery before the season started. He's out for the year. They're also without Marcus Larson, who's a junior forward from Oslo, Norway. He's out with an injury. So they are somewhat shorthanded as well. It brings us to our key factors. They are brought to you by Finance Factors. Savings, CDs, and mortgages. Learn more at financefactors.com. For Hawaii, we talk about the front court, and with Bernardo da Silva being out, we'll see what that front court looks like. You heard Gary and Derrick talk about it a little while ago during the Rivals pregame show. We saw Iran Ganat in the Pacific game following the success of the near comeback against Northern Colorado, turned to that big lineup where you had Kamaka Hepa playing the 3. You had Bernardo da Silva and Jerome DeRosier as a 5 and a 4, really, respectively. A lineup that really you could trust and maybe the difference going down the road. Now, obviously, without Bernardo da Silva, what does that change? Well, Mate Cholina is more of a 5, and he'll be there anyway. But what it does is it does give you, as we assume Cholina is going to be in the starting lineup. We haven't gotten that officially yet. What it does is it does leave the potential for 5 shooters on the floor. Now, if we see Vaughn Mcclanahan, he has struggled from outside the arc. Mcclanahan has really had his problems from distance, but is capable of shooting and may be someone called upon to extend the floor, although he is someone who is a little more of a distributor. And, of course, depth. And both teams are really going to pay attention to depth with their injuries. For Illinois Chicago, one thing notable with them, they are a team that doesn't shoot all that bad from outside the arc. They're a better three-point shooting team statistically, shooting just over 35% from the floor. And they're coming off of a loss against Loyola Chicago, in which they actually shot fairly well from outside the arc. They went 10 of 24, which is just under 42%. Actually had a lead on the Ramblers of Loyola Chicago, led by 10 at half. Could not hold it, though, as they fell 80-63. They were down as much as 18 in this game. We'll come back. We'll have the lineups, and we'll also have more on what is unique about this game. And it could make a difference, as we learned in the earlier game between San Diego and South Alabama. You've been listening to the Rivals Pregame Show here on ESPN Honolulu.
This has been the Rivals Waikiki Pregame Show. Stay tuned. University of Hawaii Rainbow Warrior Basketball is next on ESPN Honolulu.
The magic of Waikiki is back, and your staycation is waiting for you at the Waikiki Malia by Outrigger. Walking distance to the beach and lots of shopping. Rooms feature smart TVs and high-speed internet. A sports lounge, slice of Waikiki pizza, and IHOP on property. Come in a stay for as low as $99 per night. Enjoy the magic of Waikiki at the Waikiki Malia by Outrigger.
When you feel like Vegas, there's just one place to stay. Find it at the Cow. Grab a drink at the Holo Holo Bar. There's just one place to play. Find it at the Cow. We got a fresh, hot look, a new sports book. We got those local meals, just like Auntie cooks. Aloha spoken here. Find it at the Cow.
Get back to Vegas with Vacations Hawaii. Airfare, hotel, meal